Let's quickly bring on the Director of Sports at the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. He's going to be the Director in charge of the National Sports Festival and, of course, the Director of Para Sports in the Ministry, Mr. Peter Nelson, who joins us live on the show this evening. Good evening to you, sir. Welcome to TVC Sport Desk. Let's talk about the National Council on
Good
Sports
evening.
meeting. Thank you very much. The resolutions passed from that very crucial meeting last night. First and foremost, let's talk about the date. The date confirmed for the National Sports Festival as well as the sports that are ratified. But one that is generating reaction is the exclusion of parasport. How did the National Council arrive at that decision and why?
Thank you very much. Good evening, Nigerians, and thanks for listening. In such a situation, it's so impressive when you create an enabling environment for government to give you their own side of the story. First and foremost, I want to give you the date for the National Sports Commission Sport Festival. The Sport Festival is scheduled for 28th of November to the 10th of December. This is to enable athletes and officials arrive in good time, and then we are commencing this festival on the 30th. So we hope to finish the festival at exactly 9th, and states will start departing on the 10th. That is it. Now for the Council of Sports, there was a great need for us to first and foremost carry the members of the council along with what the ministry and the MOC are doing. And it was an avenue for us to look into some little challenges for us to resolve these challenges before the commencement of the National Sport Festival. And amongst those challenges, we have like para sports that they've been busy disturbing and protesting everywhere, and which has been the news of the day. Virtually everybody is interested about what has been happening. But before we go, for you to know why this sports was delisted, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, when he came, he looked at the calendar, he checked the exercise book and realized that para sports were actually performing. They were making the country proud. And beyond, in most of the Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games, they normally win the highest medal. When he saw it, he said, look, hey, these people that have been making Nigeria proud shouldn't be the second fiddle. There is a way we have to make them comfortable. In most competitions, we go World Championship, Olympic Games. If the able body goes to compete and they come back and they want to give them cash award or laurels, they give the able body, say, let's say $5,000 for gold, and then come back to give the disabled, that is the para athletes, about $2,000, which the base of comparison was nothing. They felt that the gold medal was inferior to that of the able body. When he came, he chatted, he said, hey, young men, he called us and said, look, what's the way forward? And for us to really create an enabling environment for these people is for him to create a department. So a memo was written, which was approved by the head of service of the Federation. A department was created for para sports so that they will look into their cases, the challenges, and to know how we can create a level playing ground for all these athletes. Approval was granted. The establishment of the department came. The next on board was, how do we get these people together? Now, we had just only 3 sports, which was, as at that time, that was making us proud, was powerlifting, para-athletics, and para-table tennis in this country. They were the only federation of para that were really making us proud. We had some others like para-swimming, para-tennis, and so on and so forth. But they were at the background. I want to believe that most of you, as you're listening to me, you've never heard of all these other federations before. It is until the arrival of this Honorable Minister, Chief Sunday Dari, when his arrival, that he established and created an enabling environment for all other para sports to come in. Today, as I speak, we have Para Badminton Federation, we have Para Taekwondo, we have Para Swimming, we have to mention but few, over 16 para federations. Because of that, we now looked at it and he said, Peter, we have to move ahead. And we went ahead to establish the first ever para games meant for para athletes alone. We held first para games April 4th to 15th of April this same year, that only para athletes were allowed to participate. In that festival, at the opening ceremony, we had about 6 ministers that were present. Almost all parastatals and stakeholders in the field of sports were present at that festival. In fact, they had the best ever gold medal or medals ever produced in this country. Not only that, we tried again when we had our meetings, whatever is due to the able, they too should also have it. Because of this, when we went to Japan, able athletes, for winning gold medal, we were given $15,000 US. Same, when we went, the same thing was equally applicable to them, 15,000. So there was no level of discrimination anymore. That one canceled everything. Oh, para had gone on training tour, they didn't go. Oh, sorry, able has gone on training tour, they didn't go. Oh, para is back home. We stopped all those things. So we created a level playing ground. Now, before now, some para sports used to participate alongside with the able, but that is a national sport festival. When they didn't have para games. Because things in this country, or generally, change is always a problem. They have been participating with the able body at the National Sport Festival. Now we are creating a level playing ground for them to have their own sport festival while the able one will continue. Now we are about to host the National Sport Festival, predominantly meant for the able body. They came out and said they wanted to join. They wanted to be part of the part of the national.
Okay, Mr. Nelson, let me come in here. Before these decisions were reached, what level of consultations were carried out at the level of the athletes and at the level of the sports ministries? Perhaps these athletes know that if they are not going with their able-bodied counterparts, many of the sports ministries across the states would not care about their preparation or even welfare afterwards. Were there consultations, and what were the feedback you got after that consultation?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want you to understand the fact that before we went ahead to prepare the first ever para games, we had a lot of meetings and told the officials and those concerned that we're establishing these national para sports games for para athletes alone. And on that day, you wouldn't believe, unbelievable jubilation all over. That is to tell you what I'm trying to say. We held and we wrote to them specifically, telling them this is your own festival. This is where you'll be competing. But we now decided to consider some few other sports that have been making the country proud for a while, that we don't want them to suddenly just withdraw from the National Sport Festival. Of course, now it has been withdrawn, which were these other teams, the federations that were making us really, really proud outside the country. That's powerlifting, power athletics, and power table tennis. Why? We decided to leave them because sponsorship in this country for para games is not yet been fully recognized. So getting sponsorship is a little bit difficult. So we said, because this is one of the competitions that they can keep participating in and keep themselves abreast of what is happening, let us allow them there. But when we realized that they didn't want to, just of recent, after the whole consultation, that they also wanted to, we withdrew them. So there was a positive response. And let me tell you, this thing that you saw, like a protest all over, were just from few individuals that aggravated this thing. It was just an agitation by few individuals and said, look, they want to participate. And they start giving excuses that don't really want it. There is nothing they ever want or wanted that this ministry have not done for them.
All right. Mr. Peter Nelson, we'll engage you further about this as the countdown to this festival gets underway. Thank you so much for your insights. And, of course, we wish you and the entire main organizing committee all the best as we get ready for the 21st National Sports Festival in Delta State.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.